Hi, my name's Phil Burthem. I first got involved with Vikings and fighting in the early 80s. I joined the large Viking society in the UK, known as the Norse Film and Pageant Society. When I first got involved with Vikings, there was no system of fighting, just a set of rules. The rules being very loosely that you pull your blow and that you don't hit certain target areas. In the next 10 or 15 years, fighting in Viking reenactment underwent some major changes. The first person that I met to make these innovations was Mike Hayward, and it was through Mike Hayward and training with his organisation that I learned to develop the style that is used throughout Europe today. My first involvement with Vikings in Scandinavia was in the late 80s with Mike Hayward, and after training with him for several years beforehand, we developed a system that we then passed on to Danish fighters at Moesgaard and to Danish fighters at Roskilde, and ultimately to fighters in Sweden, the first of which was Håkan Brynjolfsson. This style was the style that has now been adapted throughout Europe in what we call the Viking game. It's a system of fighting that you can reproduce Viking warfare that looks visually interesting to the public and at the same time authentic. But above all else, its primary objective is to be safe. There is only one real system, and that is the system of safety. You cannot hit certain areas due to the vulnerability of the human body and the inability to create a realistic shot that is at the same time safe. Various fighting styles have emerged in the last decade. Vikings from Eastern Europe have become increasingly involved on the scene. Groups have emerged in Iceland and France, but throughout we have tried to keep a consistency of fighting style, a certain set of rules and a certain set of objectives. The objective of safety and realism can be matched, but it must be stressed that safety is the priority when fighting with steel weapons. It is very important that people stick to one system and they stick to a certain set of rules. The system that I teach, that the Jomsviking system, is adaptable and can be adapted to suit the needs of any show promoter or organiser at any event. The target areas. Below the neck, from inside the line of the arm, the shoulder is a target, right down to above the knee. Sometimes it may be necessary in a show to include the upper arm as a target. The target should only extend as far as above the elbow. Below the elbow and below the knee are too bony and unprotected to use as targets. The neck, the head and the face are absolutely forbidden to make contact with weapons. When making certain targets, it must be remembered there are also certain areas that you must avoid and certain shots you should avoid, even if you are hitting a legitimate target. For example, if I turn this man around, his spine is the most vulnerable part on his body, apart from the head, that is. If I'm going to hit him from behind, it's very important that I do not make a direct shot into the spine for any reason. If I'm striking a man from behind, if I cannot hit him safely with the flat in the shoulder, then I should strike him in this part of his body or in the back part of the upper legs. There are a variety of Viking weapons behind me. A spear, a Dane axe, a Norwegian style broadsword, a hand axe and a scram, different size shields. In this first section I'm going to talk about the use of a single-handed sword, in this case a Norwegian langsax, and the centrally gripped round shield. When training, it is essential to carry the right safety equipment. This man has an arm guard on his right arm, his sword arm, he's right-handed. He has an armoured glove on each hand, and he's wearing a soft but unarmoured hat, which will protect him against a glancing blow in training. What he is carrying, that he shouldn't carry, are sharp knives. These must always be removed and checked for before any training or freestyle combat and removed from the area. He's wearing nice, loose fitting clothes which will allow body movement, and some good shoes. They're authentic boots, but what's most important is they're soft-soled and they have a good grip on the ground. When selecting weapons, it's very important to ensure that they're the right quality steel and that the edges are blunt and that they are not too pointy on the tip. Obviously, if a sword is too pointy or a spear is too pointy, it will penetrate armour and the human body, something we do not wish to occur. The sword itself should be made of a good spring steel that's been hardened to the right temperature so that the blade does not fail in combat, resulting in flakes of steel being removed from the blade, making it unusable. Before, during and after combat, weapons should be filed to remove any burrs, thus preventing them from cutting any naked skin that they may come into contact with in the course of training or a fight routine. When practicing the fives or any combat, there are two stances: attack stance and defense stance. Attack stance with the sword leg forward and the weapon forward. Defense stance with the weapon leg behind you and the weapon behind you. Attack stance, defense stance. When you pick up a shield, the stance is essentially the same. Attack stance, defense stance with the shield forward. Attack stance with the weapon forward, defense stance. We're going to arrange how to stand. You must put 2/3 of your weight on your back leg. Are you right-handed or left-handed? Right-handed. Then place your left leg behind you. It's important that you can't be pushed over or pulled over. You must stand with your hips parallel to the ground so you have a good solid stance. Hold your sword forward in a defensive position. Keep your chin up, never lean into a fight. After you've got a correct stance, you must learn to move while keeping in stance. I start with my left leg forward and then step into an attack move. The defender moves with me, keeping his balance and keeping his distance. This is very important when moving over uneven ground. You must learn to advance and retreat, striking and defending with both hands. Thus, alternating the block is also good. And now with the sword. First, I'll remove my gloves. I'm going to demonstrate what is universally known as the fives, but ending with the sixth shot, the thrust. In stance, the first shot, the headshot, clearly signalling this line, a shot from behind the shoulder blades down to your opponent's head, stopping short of contact. We never make contact with the head. And then, leaning back, a 45-degree blow to the shoulder, but first clearly signalling with this elbow as the first shoulder shot. Then turn the hand over and out, clearly signalled, shoulder height, 45 degrees to the enemy's collarbone. And then lean back, the blade horizontal to the ground, delivering a shot to the enemy's thigh. And hand over again, drawing out, delivering a shot to the enemy's thigh. And then the sixth shot after the fives, the thrust. Bring the sword back, the hand behind the hips, the shoulder blades meeting, deliver a thrust to your opponent's weapon side, i.e. the side that they are holding their weapon with, their left or right handed. A bent arm thrust. We never lock the arm when thrusting. very important that you make eye contact and look your opponent in the eyes and not watch the weapon. When practicing the fives, or any combat, the block is very important. The angle of the sword for the block is very important. First, I check my distance. I begin with the headshot. 90-degree block on all angles. Pressure on my hand here. If he pushes, the riposte. The shot goes this way. The first shoulder shot to here, 90 degrees. If he pushes, the riposte. The shoulder shot to here, 90 degrees. If he pushes, the riposte. Leg shot to here. If he pushes, the riposte. Leg shot from this side. If he pushes, the riposte. And again. Yeah. Block, step out, step in. Block, step out, step in. Block, the force going straight down, step out, clear the weapon, step in. Again. Block, force going straight down, not out here. Again. Step out, clear the weapon, step in. Again, block here, clear the weapon, block, step out, clear the weapon, step in. Again, block, step out, clear the weapon, step in. Step out, clear the weapon, step in. Head, arm slightly bent, wrist slightly bent, pressure in the hand here, 90 degrees all angles. The sword sloping away so that when he pushes, he comes off my sword, I am free for the riposte. Again, block, clear, kill. Again, block, clear, kill. Again, block, clear, kill. Again, block, clear, kill. Again. You may feel it necessary to include more than 5 shots and a thrust. For example, a shot to here, a shot to here, a shot to here, to here, here, and here, including both the thrust and the headshot. The rules for blocking are essentially the same. If a shot is made towards you that is above the waist, the sword must face upwards. If somebody places a shot on you below the waist, the sword faces downwards. You must parry all shots away from yourself and never into yourself. Likewise, never parry a shot up. Always parry it down and try to clear it from your body. Never parry a thrust up. Always try to clear it down and away. Shots that come in from above the waist face the blade up. From below the waist, down. Never parry a thrust up, like this. Always take it down and clear it away. With shots coming above the waist, your blade faces upwards. Below the waist, the blade is down. The use of the shield. Central boss, central grip. You block with the boss. You don't hold the shield close to the body. A projectile weapon will pin the shield to your body, and it will have no value against